Hello, welcome to Tech for Non-Tech and Tech for Doctors podcast series, where we explore how bold ideas in healthcare can turn into reality, even if you are not an engineer or a coder. So I'm your host, Dr. Baskar Raju. I trained and worked as a surgeon before moving into digital health, and now I spend my time helping healthcare organizations and startups bring innovation to life. Today, I'm especially excited because I'm not joined by just one guest, but by a whole founding team. So these are some of the youngest entrepreneurs we've had on the show, and they are already making their mark in MedTech. My guests are the founders at DogEye, a startup developing solutions in ophthalmology. Between them, they've just come out of university, stepped straight into entrepreneurship, and are learning what it takes to turn science, teamwork, and passion into a real world company. It's not every day you meet three co founders who are starting this early. And I think their story is going to resonate with anyone who has ever wondered, can I really build something in healthcare if I don't have a technical background? So, Manmohanjit, Mogil, and Richard, welcome to the show. It's fantastic to have you all here.
Thank you so much. We're
Pleasure.
delighted to be here.
It's great to
Excellent.
be here.
Right. Let's kickstart this. So, and I'm going to throw some questions. So, whoever feels appropriate to answer that, you can go in an order, or all three of you one by one. Let's keep it at a casual tone in a way. So, which came first, the idea or the team?
That's a really good question.
I would say the idea came first, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea came about, so we all met by very happy coincidence. So I was taking an integrated master's in medical technology at university, and
Mhm.
both Manmohanjit and Richard were studying biomedical innovation.
Mm-hmm.
We had an overlap in one of our courses,
Mm-hmm.
which involved a tech sprint.
Mm-hmm.
So having a clinical challenge and coming up with a solution in a
Mm-hmm.
very short amount of time, and
Mm-hmm.
ensuring that it would be effective, and making sure that all of the things surrounding the solution, such as the competitor research, market research, the regulatory strategy, identifying all of that, we had to do it in a very short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and we first came up with the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then the team kind of formed around that.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea came first, and then a while later we regrouped and thought, actually, we should take this forward. This could have a real life impact.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you recollect the exact moment? Obviously, the healthcare is a vast landscape, and then there are multiple opportunities at various levels, right? As an organization level, or the process level, or particular disease level, or particular stakeholder level, and obviously there are for the tuned eye, we can pick up a lot of gaps that can be potentially addressed. And can you recollect exactly at what point and where you picked up this particular challenge of what Huawei is addressing?
Yes. So, as part of our master's degree, we were tasked with establishing and identifying problems within eye care. And I still remember the day that we walked into the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, not knowing anybody, looking
Mm-hmm.
for connections because we knew what we wanted. We wanted to speak to people
Mm-hmm.
around eye care.
Mm-hmm.
We had heard a testimonial from a patient about how they struggled with their eye drop administration, the frequency in which they had to apply their eye drops, and needed an easier and more palatable way to apply their eye drops to have that autonomy. Because
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about people who unfortunately have to depend on others to apply their eye drops, and that can take an emotional toll on people. So initially, it was about verifying, validating the need,
Mm-hmm.
and after going straight to the source, after going straight into hospitals and speaking to stakeholders such as ophthalmologists, opticians,
Mm-hmm.
nurses, and getting the need validated, that was kind of like the trampoline, that was the platform upon which we catapulted, I would say, into our proper business case.
Mm-hmm. Very good, very good, excellent. So you had the opportunity to find this challenge in a real world, and also you approach in a right way to validate that is a real challenge in the real world. And the next important step for any idea is what is the quantum of this challenge? So before, kind of you mentioned about the business case, or even approaching it in terms of what is the solution for the problem. So one thing most of the founders would do is what is the effort required to find a solution? Is it worth my time and investment into finding a solution? And what is that kind of market? How big is this? So how did you go about finding that kind of data to support your business case?
Yeah. So that's a really good point to make, that if you're addressing a clinical need, it's really important to find out if it's even worth having or creating a solution for it, if there's an actual need in the world. And at Targo, we exactly did that, and we understood the importance of that. We conducted in-depth market research. We went to pharmacists, we went to care homes, talked to professionals in ophthalmology, and we collected data to see if there is actually a need. And we did find out that there is a need for a solution for this clinical need. And there's over 4 million people in the UK that have conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, Parkinson's, diabetic neuropathy, and use eye drops. And they struggle to achieve the pinch grip, which is needed to squeeze an eye drop bottle. And at Targo, that's where we come in, and we've innovated a medical device that helps administer eye drops without the need for the patient to squeeze an eye drop bottle. So we alleviate the need for pinch grip. And so the patient can apply the eye drops effectively and, most importantly, independently.
Very good. Very good. Excellent. I think so far you're doing a great job. So it's great to see at such a young age compared to me. So approaching this in a very, very methodical and a systematic way. That's commendable. Excellent. So in terms of, did you select any particular team or an individual as a mentor early on in your journey?
We early on in our journey, we had I wouldn't say we had a specific mentor. We did have our professors to help us. And we were very fortunate to be part of a business incubator that the University of Birmingham does for their students and graduates, called Elevate. And within that incubator, we were part of a really loving and kind entrepreneurial community, which we're really proud to be part of. And they hosted workshops where we learnt a lot of practical skills that we could apply to the business. And we developed a really, really helpful, supportive network through Elevate as well. And we attended quite a lot of MedTech related exhibitions and events as well, to get to know the industry and the people that work in the industry as well, to create our own network. So I would say that we haven't had one specific mentor. We've had multiple people that we have took inspiration from, and we would love to work with in the future as well.
Okay, very good. Excellent. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. So I think a project like this would need mentorship at various levels and various domain experts and so on. That's the right approach. And then, have you considered applying for intellectual property protection and trademarks?
Yes, so that is down the line. So currently we're still in the R&D phase. So I've been speaking to a lot of intellectual property experts and lawyers in this field, and they've recommended that for now that we keep the prototype confidential. So we're safe with using NDAs and signing disclosure agreements and being very careful with how we describe the product until the stage where we've got the final design to then file for IP.
Excellent. So then the next question would be, so obviously the good thing is you all come from that immediate kind of university incubator, accelerator environment. So where you got a lot of help from various departments. So how did you find the right engineering team or a partner to develop the prototype?
I think we were quite fortunate in the entrepreneurial community that we're in. As Manny mentioned, Elevate gave us the platform to network with a lot of high value people, a lot of
Mhm.
people with wider networks themselves within Birmingham.
Mhm.
This spans across aspects such as legal, manufacturing,
Mhm.
so we were lucky in that sense to have the right people around us that could point us towards people that could help us.
Mhm.
The university we come from as well is also renowned for its 3D printing facility known as the
Mhm.
Makerspace,
Okay.
um, and that's located in the engineering building. So um, we were able to use our connections. We were able to speak to professors as graduates and alumni
Mhm.
who were very excited to learn and hear about what we're doing at Taigai, and very zealously agreed to help us out where they could.
Mhm. Excellent, excellent, Richard. Um, Obviously, like you three are kind of like-minded thinkers in terms of finding a solution for a real-world challenge, and obviously, you all have your own um, academic background. So, when you got together and got serious about it, and then how did you go about forming the commercial entity, incorporating a company, and defining roles and responsibilities? So that's one of the important things sometimes some teams struggle with, or they do not focus on early on ironing that out, and then they get into some kind of disputes or yeah, bitterness later on. So how did you approach that part of structuring your business?
That's a really, really good question, actually. And I'm really glad you've addressed it because it's been an important part of our journey.
Mhm.
So when we first started, we were all very excited and we all kind of jumped in and took kind of every role that was available. So we all did a little bit of the market research, we all did a little bit of the clinical outreach, the graphic designing, the marketing.
Mhm.
And this was very new to us, and we thought this was a good way to approach.
Mhm.
But very soon, what we found was that this approach made us very inefficient.
Mhm.
So we would be spending hours, all three of us, working on one challenge or one thing, and
Mhm.
our meetings would drag on for a very very long time. And
Mhm.
we very quickly identified that we each have our own strengths that we bring to the table, and
Mhm.
by utilizing splitting the roles, we can
Mhm.
emphasize our strengths
Mhm.
and bring the best to our guy.
Mhm.
So that's how we split up our roles. So
Mhm.
due to my kind of medical background and clinical background, I
Mhm.
have the clinical outreach,
Mhm.
the getting in touch with clinicians, hospitals, and patients. Um,
Mhm.
and I also have a medical technology background too, with
Mhm.
my master's. So I also lead the regulatory development. And both Manny and Richard, they bring their own strengths to the table. So
Mhm.
Manny heads the product development, and
Mhm.
Richard has a background with quality management. So he has
Mhm.
quality management and the business outreach.
Mhm.
And by splitting that up, we found that at least in the past few months,
Mhm.
the rate at which we're working and the
Mhm.
progress we're making has sped up tremendously.
Mhm. Very good. Very good. Amazing. Great. Anything else, Richard and Manmohanjit, you want to add to what Mugil has said?
No, I think Miguel answered that question really well.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Good man. Good. Good. Excellent. So, right. The so next question would be it will come into Richard in a way. So, uh, his expertise into compliance, regulatory, that kind of landscape. Kind of how did you navigate your team in terms of explaining and getting them on board in terms of getting the strategy to get through the regulatory environment and especially kind of device classification through MHRA? Can you just explain that, maybe taking a couple of minutes? So that's kind of one of the key aspects. So I think even quite a few established organizations sometimes struggle with, and then it takes longer, and then so they sometimes start the engagement with the MHRA at kind of very at later stages and so on. It's good to see that your proactiveness in this area, Richard?
Yes. So my personal journey, my personal interaction with that side of business came a couple of years ago before I even came to Birmingham. So my undergraduate degree was in pharmaceutical biotechnology. I then used that to get into Stryker within their
Mhm.
neurovascular division. And I was working on a site in Cork in Ireland. That's
Mhm.
where the accent is from. Um, but I was working as a quality technician there. And
Mhm.
my role had every single thing to do with making sure that everything that's being made in that clean room and that everything that leaves that site
Mhm.
is regulatory compliant. And that comes
Mhm.
with so much. It comes with documentation, it comes
Mhm.
with audits. I have
Mhm.
experience of facilitating BSI audits. I have
Mhm.
experience in making sure that as a company Striker, we're compliant to ISO 13485, which
Mhm.
is the standard that we were expected to adhere to. So
Mhm.
having that background,
Mhm.
gave me a strong backbone in a sense, and it gave me an idea of what was required from
Mhm.
a quality and compliance aspect.
Mhm.
Moving into Targai,
Mhm.
moving into Birmingham and doing the masters,
Mhm.
it was a continuation of that.
Mhm.
So I'm lucky in the sense that I was able to collaborate with the guys on pretty much the same module that we met. So
Mhm.
what our learning material was very similar. We were learning the exact same things.
Mhm.
We had an in-depth couple of weeks learning about the process here in the UK, how you can
Mhm.
go through NICE,
Mhm.
what it takes to get MHRA
Mhm.
approval,
Mhm.
the ISOs, as I said, the different
Mhm.
auditing bodies. So it
Mhm.
was very straightforward to be able to relay to the team.
Mhm.
And we've started putting initial preliminary quality strategies forward,
Mhm.
and started on that documentation to make sure that we're
Mhm.
strong, that we're regulatorily compliant,
Mhm.
because in the field that we're in MedTech,
Mhm.
it's a must. Like you won't get anywhere if quality isn't a priority.
Yeah, you hit the nail on. So that's good. Excellent. So yeah, I we recently attended the NHS England's clinical safety officer training. Yeah, again, they kind of wanted to know because we are helping a lot of companies, especially in the digital health side, so that we can help them and guide them early on in terms of completely kind of at least giving them kind of NHS digital standards, DTAC assessments, DPIA, and MHRA, and like the device classifications 1, 2A, 2B, 3, and then so DCB 0129, DCB 0160, and then getting the health economics report ready for submission to NICE and so on. It's kind of it is a daunting journey, I would say. So anything that comes into healthcare domain. So this takes a lot of meticulous planning and also having this kind of long-term approach, and also early interactions and touch points with various of these regulatory space agencies. I think I'm very impressed to see how you guys are approaching this. So well done.
Thank you.
Okay, excellent. So if you want to disclose, so what category MHRA has classified your product, Richard?
So our product is class 1A.
1A, okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
class 1A device.
Okay, excellent. Great. So then, obviously, the most important part of any product development or innovation, it needs funding. So, and who is in charge for funding in your team?
That would be me.
All right, you as well. Okay, fine, man. So both of them have given the very big task to you. Excellent. Right. So how are you going about so far in terms, are you just bootstrapping, or what is the funding arrangements so far, like helping you grow? And yeah, can you elaborate on that?
Correct. I would say bootstrapping would be accurate.
Mm-hmm.
We've been putting together funding applications
Mm-hmm.
as is the norm as a
Mm-hmm.
startup. Where you're looking for cash to help you propel your venture forward. We have been fortunate to receive grants, to receive awards, recognizing our impact within the community that we work in, recognizing our innovative exploits. But in MedTech, the fees and the figures, you can't get enough. You always need more. So that's something we're navigating at the moment. It's something that we're very excited about. We're really confident about a lot of the grant applications that we've put forward. And we think it's also important not to just apply to anything, but to apply to things that we believe will actually benefit us, things that align with our morals and values as well.
Very good, very good. So obviously some of these grant applications and decisions, it takes its own time. So and obviously in the meanwhile you still need to keep the momentum with what you built already, and then what needs to be done to kind of make it market ready. So have you had any thoughts about external funding in terms of non-grant funding, so equity dilutions, etc. at this point, or are you still just waiting for grants and then take a call later on?
I think that is something that we may consider later down the line. However, at this point in time, as you said, it's a thing whereby we're focusing on non-dilutive grants.
Very good, very good. Yes, absolutely, right approach. Right. So now my next question would be, what is so where are you in terms of because on your website, so I've not seen any kind of product demo videos or anything along those lines. It's still kind of a description about the venture. So so when would you put something a little bit more substantive, let's say in the public domain, about the product? Quite curious in a way. So yeah.
Of course. So currently we're still prototyping. We have an MVP ready. We're waiting on more substantive grants to come in to work with a product design firm of our choice to finalize the design process, and finalize a prototype. And obviously following that, we need to apply for IP. We've been very fortunate with the connections and networks that we've had a lot of advice surrounding the product design and patent protection and keeping it confidential. So we've been very careful and diligent in not releasing too much of what we have right now. But as soon as the protection is in place, we'll be very happy to display it everywhere that we can.
Okay, excellent. That's great. I know, like, I think we went through this kind of dilemma, like kind of on a regular basis, or we still go through. I think that's the thing, isn't it? For you to get an IP protection, so you need to completely provide all the details why your product is, or how your product is distinct from the rest. And obviously, once that is there and that gets kind of put in the IPO website or WIPO, and then anyone can access it in a way. So, and then the question is, what is the competitive advantage in terms of, okay, fine, obviously nowadays